All right, we'll call this meeting to order, and please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Wilson, if you can please call the roll.
Gamblin.
Here.
Gordon.
Here.
Crew.
Here.
Smith. Absent. Reuter.
Here.
Thoreau.
Here.
Wilson.
Here.
You have a quorum.
All right, thank you. Charles, can you hand me that guest sign-in thing, please? All right. Laura, I have you down for the Hearts of Hardy down in the chart thing, so we'll have get to you. All right, Miss Taylor, if you want to go ahead and talk about your event. Thank you.
First, I want to thank y'all for letting us use the building as often as we do during the duration of my 100-hour reserve class that I'm doing for some potential local law enforcement officers upcoming. And we really appreciate that. It's been very, very helpful. Secondly, the mayor and I have been working on some plans, or we're just starting to work on some plans. We want to try to have a car show about July, August, somewhere. We don't have the dates set yet, and we're going to get all of this detailed out for y'all as quickly as we can. Just wanted to jump in here and get a hold of a meeting to kind of make y'all privy of it. We'd like to use the building to do the car show if that would be feasible. Like I said, it's going to be sometime maybe the end of July, beginning of August, somewhere in there. We do not have dates yet. So that's basically all I was needing to add.
Just keep us posted then as you get it all together.
Gonna have it all inside?
Yes.
Inside and out.
Excuse me, inside and out. Again, we're still working on the details. I apologize.
Have you contacted the Spring River Car Club?
She just did.
That's good.
You're aware, right?
There we go.
You are aware that they're the.
They'll be glad to hear that you're having one.
They're
They don't
meeting
have
tomorrow
to-
morning too, right? Okay.
Okay.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Tim.
I appreciate it.
All right. For the approval of minutes, I think we just have a special meeting from June 6th that we have to do.
Does everybody have their copy or have reviewed it? I've got copies if you need them.
I need an extra copy.
June 6th is the special meeting.
That was a working meeting.
No.
I don't have
The one on June 6th was a special meeting. That was for the latrine.
Oh.
Anybody have any issues that they saw in the? Do we have a motion to approve them?
I'll make a motion.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right. All in favor? Any nays?
No, would you pass that one back and ask Darlene to sign it, and then you sign it, and it'll be official.
Everybody reviewed the agenda. Hope I got everything on there that everybody wanted, because we've got a long one.
Well, since we just did minutes, can I have a minute?
Sure.
Okay. As I had stated at a previous meeting, I would bring Bruce a copy of our approved minutes, the last 3 meetings, with all of his corrections attached. And there are 3 sets of minutes here. Here you go, Bruce. Now this is the official way that they were filed with the official records. They were approved
Oh,
with it,
okay.
and there's your copies. And I also have
You ever put the
a check
staple
for
on
you, and then
this
we can
side?
get this all done.
Left-handed people do that.
Do they?
Yeah.
Whatever. Okay.
And this is your $9.85. And I was not aware that you were having to wait so long for this, but next time you get a check, I'll see if I can't get hold of you.
That was it. I'll check that off.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. All right,
Thank you.
is
Thank
that
you.
good? All right.
I need one of those back. when
The
you
one
sign it.
with the little sticky on it, she'll need that one back.
That says original for Darlene.
Yeah.
Did you sign it?
Did I get, oh, no, but I need my signed copy as
You
well.
got it.
We got it to you. Right on.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that you gave me 2 copies.
All right. Ms. Wilson, if you want to go ahead and with your financial report. And just so everyone is aware, we do actively have Ms. Reuter doing the financial secretary duties now, and she's been getting all of that stuff listed into the computer and working hard on all of that. Do you want me to pass it to you?
Yes, please. Sorry.
So just so everyone's aware of that.
Does everybody have the copy of the financials? So I know this looks like a lot of paperwork, and I won't go into detail on all of it, but I'll just tell you what you got. Pretty much same as last month, the balance sheet first. The next 2 pages are check registers, one for each of the checking accounts that shows the activity since the last meeting.
Okay, so these are the checks, deposits and
Deposits and checks.
stuff, and checks.
It's just like, it's what I print out of QuickBooks, but it's just like your check
Oh,
register you would
okay.
keep, yeah.
I see.
So it shows checks and deposits. And the first one's the operating account, and the second one's the reserve account. The next page shows the profit and loss, or I've got the profit and loss 3 different ways. And I don't have to print all 3 of them each time if you'll tell me which one you prefer. But basically, the first one is year-to-date comparison. It shows the last month, and I'm doing the month as since the last meeting to today. So it's not like May or June. It's all the activities since the last meeting. And then the far column is the year-to-date amounts. And then the next one is a profit and loss by month, so you can see the activity for each month of the year. And the last one is year-to-date compared to your budget. And I'll be glad to try to answer any questions you may have.
Well, I guess I'm concerned on this, on the last page where we have our budget, and then the expense or checks that we've written for each of those budgets.
The
So
negative
we're-
difference on expense means we're under budget by that amount.
Yeah, so there's a negative that would be,
Right.
we got that much extra.
Left.
If there's
Left.
there's no negative, then
Then you've
that's how
gone
much
up.
we spent over. Now,
That's right.
the
And the-
signage that we had, we were over at one time.
And if you'll remember,
And
last month
we moved
you
money,
allowed me to
right?
move that, right. Didn't actually move money, I moved where it's presented on the financial statements. So building purchase and civic center signage will show up on your balance sheet. So if you look at the first page, you'll see those there.
It's not, yeah, but we had in the budget that we had signs.
Yes, and it will be on the actual budget that shows your balance sheet items, which you don't have here yet. I will show you that right after we, in a minute.
I guess I'm concerned if we have money left over in certain areas of our budget, then that money could possibly be routed on the approval of the commission. That could be used
And I
into
have
different
that
areas.
as a
We'd
separate,
have to vote on that.
right,
Right.
right. And I have that as a separate subject.
that you're going to
budget.
speak on tonight?
Next. Or
Yes, coming up.
And then also, I guess, the income, we have to find out on the tax if everybody's been up to date. I mean, is that something that Jamie's going to
Jamie
be
will do.
talking
Correct.
about then too?
Right.
Okay.
And along with that, we had a document that was approved back in 2017, that's the payment procedure. And we, after Jamie started doing her part, and we had a little discussion about that. It's basically the same thing that was already on there, but we took off, there was specific names mentioned, and we didn't think that was necessary. So we revised this, sorry, I should pass it around, shouldn't I? So you can see it. It is basically the same thing without a specific person's name. It's more generic. In other words, finance secretary will present payment request, and another commissioner that's authorized on the bank account will be the backup for that person. Other than that, it's basically the same procedure for approving payments by the commission. And the form was, it's the same form that we had before with an updated date, and just this person who signs it should be the finance secretary or an authorized commissioner, which would be whatever commissioner is authorized on the bank account. So it could be, right now, it could be Kristen or Frida, could be the other person that is authorized to give
Or
the
Jamie,
bookkeeper.
she's on the checking
Well,
account.
she's listed as finance secretary.
Right, I understand, just make it clear so everyone knows. So that
Right, it
she's
says finance secretary or authorized commissioner, so the other authorized commissioner would be, right now, Kristen or Frida, because it says another commissioner who is authorized on the bank account may approve payments
Does that make
to
sense?
submit to me.
So like the one on the back that she provided is the old one
And
with,
And Jamie's on there, you went through the bank already, and your
Yes.
name's on there.
Yes,
and everything's
yes.
looking fine.
so we will need a motion to go ahead and approve this to show the wording. Basically, just like she said on the
For a
one of the,
payment procedure?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so like, anybody here, like, if I do get involved doing handrail or other things where it's expense, is there some, is this a form here that I got to fill out? Or
You just
do I
have to-
turn
You will
in a
just present
receipt?
it to Jamie.
I just turn in a receipt and whatnot, and whatever it is, okay. So what is the second page here?
It's the form that we use Jamie gives this to me or Frida, whoever is
statement.
authorized, along with the actual invoices.
Oh.
And this is how I'm authorized to write checks. I have to have this before I can write a check.
You can write the check, but how,
she doesn't sign them.
She
though.
doesn't
She
sign
gives them
them.
to us.
you just type it out, whoever to whoever.
Right.
I print them out, right?
Okay, my one question, I guess, is the pay setting times, did they get paid for
The check did get sent to them.
the directories?
Yes.
Okay, so they're all,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, it was properly presented, and
I haven't heard back, so I
This is
guess I'm
really
just
just to make,
assuming.
this is really just to make it a little more
Okay,
streamlined.
well, I make a motion that we accept this payment procedure as written, as handed out.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion approved.
And I have one last thing while we're talking things that I have. This is, at the beginning of the year, there was it was called Finance Secretary Responsibilities that was passed out to all the commissioners. And these were also looked over, and it's not anything that's, I don't think needs to be approved. You're welcome to look it over and bring up anything you disagree with. But it's just,
Are they guidelines?
it's just to let you know who is doing what now that we have a new finance secretary, and I'm the bookkeeper, and it's just slightly different. So, and Civic Center rental was on there, which that's now been given to Charles and Bruce, and so just shows what, the way things are being done as of right now.
All right, good deal. Did you have anything else on your finance?
I think that's all.
Okay, so let me ask a question about the Civic Center rental. So Charles is still handling that along with Bruce and Kristen.
I'm only as backup, I think.
Well,
If they can't get a hold of anybody, then they call me or something. I'm not a principal. But yeah, it's,
okay, and provide original of a rental agreement to Monica at City Hall. Why does she need the original? She could be given that information if she's going to post a master events. Why does she need the original of the rental agreement? Shouldn't that stay with our A&P? It's the Civic Center rental.
Well, we all have we have copies, like backup copies, but since other files are being held there as well, we put and it's a locked, secure location. So having that binder, which has been found, I know I contacted all of you guys.
Where was it, for heaven's sake?
They had it in-house, so it was there, just had been misplaced, so thank the Lord. So it's in the drawer that we use for A&P. It's in our A&P drawer. But then she can reference it too if there's a hiccup. And the mayor, he needs to know what's going on here too for when citizens ask. And it's a good reference point.
because a lot of times the people go to the city hall.
Right.
to
And we
do
don't
the
have our records
inquiring.
here or
We
anything
don't.
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess they need at least a copy or something. If we don't have the originals in one place, they need to be in someplace else.
Yeah.
Well, for the records that are kept by the secretary should have a copy
Yeah.
of the rental agreement. And I haven't seen any for quite a while, but I know it's all been in transition, and then the folder disappeared. So if we could catch that up, then that would kind of clear up everything.
Mm-hmm.
If I went-
So I've had inquiries a couple times about who to talk to on the rental, and
Send them to Charles
it was
first.
misunderstood because I was told by someone that called City Hall that Monica was now handling the rental, but this is not what this says. This
Right.
says that Charles is handling it.
Right.
And I had told him to call Charles and gave him his number. Now I don't know if they did, but
Monica is just really to be part of the group calendar in order for the city to know what's going on here.
well, that's fine if the city knows. I'm just clearing it up.
Yep.
Because I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about it.
So Charles, main contact, and then me and Bruce if he's not available.
Main, whatever, the rental agreement has all 3 phone numbers on it. And Bruce, I think we're equal in that regard.
Well-
I don't think you're the backup.
Well,
I think we're equal.
okay.
We should say
But-
either or.
Yeah,
My number,
I only been
I
backed
believe
up
is
once.
first, and yours is second, and City Hall is third. And the reason we did it that way, in case they can't get a hold of you or I for some reason. And they'll call Monica, and Monica usually calls me, or she'll call you if she can't get a hold of me.
Now, we've always had a lot of people that would want to rent, would call City Hall. And they did that because City Hall handles the city-owned gym. And so they would call City Hall to find out who to talk to rent it, which would be, that's understandable.
you good then?
Can we get, do you have a report on how many and who rented it and everything over the last 3 months? It would help if we could get,
We plan to now that Jamie's
I think there
the
is a
finance.
report.
Yeah.
In that regard,
Okay,
I don't have it.
okay.
I think we're gonna have to start over.
At one
So
time.
it's just in order to keep all
Now
of
that
it.
Right, not mine.
records, the
Yeah.
records
So
I
you-
can.
Right.
So you're gonna,
Now that we have access to the records, I
Okay.
can do that, yes, absolutely.
Okay,
Okay.
I just wanted to be sure that everybody understood that system.
Okay.
All right.
Another finance related thing is, Steve that was here 2 months back now, for the ATV ride, we had approved $350 to him for that event. We got a bill for $300 for KOOL for the radio. And then he also gave us from area-wide, or maybe they came to, he didn't drop them off, they came through the mail to our post office and Ms. Frida turned it in, but area-wide for $96. So that puts us $46 over what we had told him we would pay. So we need to decide if we're going to pay the additional $46. We've already submitted the KOOL for payment. So this one we can either pay $50 and then let him know that the $46 is still something he would have to do, or we make a motion to pay the $46 and pay the whole thing. So.
Where we stand on the budget? That'd be a negative.
Right now for event support, we have $4,608 left.
What, 46?
$4,608 in that line item.
And how much did we commit to treasures?
That was $650, I think. $650 right now.
For advertising?
Oh, I thought it, I mean, that was before me, but I thought it was over that.
Wasn't it? Oh, yeah, that's right. What did we plan to
I
do
don't
then?
think we did anything.
Yeah, $2,000.
2,000, okay. So,
We paid
26, what's that?
We paid some for a billboard already.
You paid
Oh, yeah.
400, and I was gonna ask if you paid the balance yet, if not, what I need to do so that you can.
Okay. Because he only submitted an invoice for that half, right?
It was 1,200, and he submitted, gave it for 400, which y'all paid. So I don't know about the balance, 800, that's one of the reasons I'm here to see what I
Okay.
need to do.
So he would probably have to submit an invoice for the remaining balance and then, so anyway, back to the ATV. So
Is
how do you
there,
guys want to move forward on
is
that?
there anything other than that that we've
We give to Homesteaders
Already
Days,
committed to?
a little bit, and
There's something else that, barbecue thing too, I noticed in the paperwork. That's
yeah,
going
there's a
up.
little bit. So it's 40, it's
I
the
would make a
amount,
motion that we pay that, but give notice to Steve that we have taken care of it above and beyond. So at least if he's aware of it, he might not be aware of it, but I make a motion that we take care of it. Yeah.
do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion on this that you guys have?
I know that he donated that money back, which is the only reason I would go along with this, but in the future, if we give you 300, you're getting 300,
Yeah.
not 301.
I think
Well,
that was before I came in, but I think in the future, if somebody's coming to ask for money, they're gonna ask for what they have a quote for, so it should be more of a set amount. I think the commission just said, we'll throw this number out, so that's where the 40 differed.
Yeah, he
Well,
didn't
the motion though was up to 300.
Exactly.
But I'm just saying without
Well,
any,
350, it was up to
up to
350.
350, but I'm saying without any quotes on what it was gonna be ahead of time.
Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? All right, motion approved. So, Jamie, I'll give you that. All right. Mr. Wilson, if you want to go ahead and give your committee report.
This is the items that we talked about. And Bruce, there's one for you. I'm going to run through these fairly quickly. There's a bunch of stuff here. And if you can, hold your questions till the end. If you want to say something, go ahead. But we sort of divided it up between the things we can do fairly quickly, and most of them require money, and the things that we can't do quickly that require even more money. But the first thing was the Tourist Information Center, and we couldn't open it last weekend because of the spay and neuter clinic. We didn't want to. But I've got volunteers lined up, and if everything works out, I think we'll probably open it up next weekend. Replace the floors in the front rooms. Mark is going to take that on as a project. And I guess we're at the point where we need to get an estimate now, right? I just plugged that
More
figure
so
in there.
More so than the labor, we can work that out. These 2 floors that I got from Otis Pack is something they bought a bunch of, and if we're gonna get it because it'll be gone. Of course, if we need 1,750 feet, there'll be 1,650 there if we wait. If not, we're going to have to buy it from one big box stores, and it runs between $2.25 and $3 a foot from them.
You ever check that Batesville store out with the flooring?
That's,
Well, this one's at Southside. It's a big building material place, Otis Pack, and he buys end runs and such. But that floor is really heavy for that price. We're not going to buy anything at full retail. At that price, it's half as thick as that.
Are you saying they have enough of that?
I need to check now that we got
Sorry.
he had at least 1,000 feet, but I need him to have about 1,800 feet of one to the other. But they're both pretty, the 2 he has are a neutral brown, is a neutral gray brown. And if we went back with a white or a gray or some form of that, or even with a little blue in it, anything's going to match that. So, and the reason I got this instead of VCT, if we brought VCT in here, a lot of this floor is water damaged, and there's probably some loose ones. If you tap on them, they have to be pulled up, and the whole thing skim coated and then glued, and then it would have to be sealed and polished again periodically, and it would cost almost the same. So with this type floor, it's a solid vinyl product all the way through, and even if water got in here, it's not going to hurt.
Yep, okay.
We would leave this
Yeah, cut it on top of this.
way on top. That includes the bathroom, safety.
And that, yeah,
we probably need to just hold off on that until you can get a firm figure on it.
okay.
Okay.
Till next month.
Okay, and we got one estimate on painting, and it was for everything, but that you can read there. Downstairs rooms, front wall bookshelves, conference room upstairs, includes all labor materials. If anyone else would, I'd like to get at least 3 estimates on this if we're gonna have someone do it. If Jamie wants to throw a party and have us all come down and do it, well then we'll just scratch that off here and figure out how much the paint costs and come down and do it. But I personally hate to paint. I don't know about anybody else.
I'd paint.
I think we have enough money in the budget, we could pay someone to do it. But I think we could do much better than that estimate that we got from Mr. Meeks. Although it is a turnkey, all-inclusive job.
Does his include,
All repairs to,
that's the ceiling repairs as well?
right, ceiling, drywall, using Behr paint.
And that's repop pointing and all that working? Okay.
When you figure all that in, that might not be too bad a bit, but I'd sure like to get one from someone else. If anyone knows a painting contractor or painter that might be interested in bidding the job.
The question, I guess, is that in our budget for this year?
We've got enough money in the budget to do it, I think.
Yeah, but is it on our budget line that says?
Let him go through them all, and then, you know how we talked about
Yeah,
the
we're going in
The
All right.
extra money, we might could think of using that for that, so just keep that in mind when you're,
Next item, Bruce has already taken care of. Air filters have been replaced and fire extinguishers have
Well,
been installed.
just the one air filter. I haven't checked the big units in the back, but they were new, weren't they? So I don't know when they were put in, not too long ago. I was still, now that I got paid, I was still check on those.
We were talking about doing the windows, and we got a quote on that from Johnny, and this is sort of what he's going to do. In the front windows, these two here. One for you and one for Kristen.
I just passed them
Now,
over.
I think that's something we could probably do right away unless somebody has some problem with, this is perforated vinyl, you'll be able to see out of it. And,
Just this one over here.
yeah,
is that the 250?
yeah.
If he could, if we know what the font style is on the logo itself, I'd like it better if he used our own font instead of this one. Where it says Visit Hardy in our logo.
I mocked this up, he would get the actual file.
Okay.
It's not,
But if we could figure out what that is.
and use
Visit
that
Hardy.
same font
Yeah.
for this, okay. And I think the actual file has some green in it, or more green than this showed up too, so,
Darlene, I have the actual number colors for that logo.
okay.
That has not been given to you.
No, I don't know.
I'll email it to you.
Okay, that'd be great.
This is interesting, but I don't see any mention in here about a roof repair that's leaking back there.
Still?
Well, when was it repaired?
Bruce repaired it.
2 months ago.
Bruce
We
fixed
didn't
it
hear
2 months
any
ago.
report that it had been repaired. Who repaired it?
When did you see it leaking?
Who did?
When did you see it leaking?
Last time it rained. When was it
That was
repaired?
yesterday.
When was it repaired,
2
Bruce?
months ago.
Who repaired it?
I did.
You didn't give any report on that, so I don't guess anybody knew about it.
I knew about it.
Well, that's great.
I didn't think it was
You shouldn't.
necessary.
Yes, when you do something, you really should bring a report so that all the commissioners know,
I'll,
so that we know what's going on.
okay, next time.
Okay, fine, it's been repaired. Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Okay, the
Thank you
window
very much.
tinting, that costs more than we all thought it was gonna cost.
Holy cow.
And we'd like to get another estimate on that also, but,
Did he come down here?
He came down here and measured and checked what type of windows, because he said depending on what type of windows, there's 2 different types of tint. I don't know anything about that, but he gave a quote on just the windows, and then he gave a quote on windows and doors.
what was this one? Was that everything?
This is everything.
Everything, okay.
And I might add, Johnny said this perforated vinyl that he would do on these windows with that lettering on it serves as a tinting.
He makes they use one like sometimes it's perforated, people use it on the back glass of their vehicles. And it absolutely will show you.
Right.
I
So
would
we,
add, if you're getting another estimate, I would ask him if he has a solution, because he's a lot cheaper than everybody else.
Jamie, can you do that? Can you
Yes.
do the rest?
From,
Johnny in Salem?
Salem Graphic.
I can ask him.
Salem Graphic. Okay. Yep, okay.
Along with what he
Yeah,
did.
we'll hold off on that until we get another quote. Lighted sign, we decided we didn't want post hours for the tourist information center. We're just gonna get a sign and put it up, light it up when we're here and turn it off when we're not. Anybody have a problem with that?
For $40? No.
Okay. Back entry door needs painting. I'm gonna take care of that. I've got some exterior gray deck paint that I can, or exterior gray paint. And I'll do that sometime this week, hopefully. Bruce is gonna put a handrail on the stairway.
I don't know what the cost is. That's an estimate.
$110 is an estimate.
I'm just guessing. And we need a 16-foot.
We need that fairly quick, actually.
Well, okay, now that I got paid.
Was that a wood handrail and brackets, with
Yeah.
brass brackets?
I got the brackets. I just need a
Should-
handrail.
If you've got the brackets, then it should be more than $100 or $110, should it?
It's been a couple
Well,
years
they
since I bought one.
They come unfinished, so you're going to,
No, I ain't gonna finish
huh?
it. No, just put it up.
Jamie likes to be.
Okay, we're recommending that be done anyway, and I think $110 can cover it.
I'll check.
It won't, we'll have to.
ASAP.
We wanted to fix the upstairs conference room where we can rent it out, and we wanted to get some things to equip it with, and that's what the $300 is for. We really need a fan up there, a good fan. We had the air conditioner checked out, and the man says there's nothing wrong with it, it's working fine, but because the thermostat is down here, you're gonna have it 5 degrees hotter upstairs, then you're gonna have it down here, and if you want it cool up there, if you want it 75 up there, you're gonna have to set it on 70 down here. And,
Is it the same system as this one? Oh, it's not a different system.
Anybody have a problem with that? Spending that money? We'll move on. Bruce and Ernie have been working on the rock pile and the bushes, trimming the trees, cleaning out the weeds along the building over on the other side. The city has graciously agreed to remove the median out here and take the shrubs out and gravel the parking area. Make the whole thing a parking area, gravel. For right now.
They're gonna leave the middle tree and take the both ends.
No, we're not leaving anything,
They're taking it all out?
all out. It's all coming out. I'll leave a tree there and
For shade?
2 more
For
parking
them to
spaces.
fall on the car.
It's a peacock tree.
Okay. We're gonna take it all out, right, Ernie?
Yes.
Okay. We're gonna take it out, Bruce. Some work's already been done. I don't know who did it, Bruce, or
Yep,
you did the bushes?
I cut it down and I think the city grabbed it on Saturday.
Is everyone okay spending $3,000 on gravel for the parking lot?
And that includes the removal of this media too. What are we gonna do with the railroad ties? Can we reuse them for someplace? What was
City
the plan
takes them
on
out, as far as I'm concerned, the city can haul them off.
that? City owns them. The railroad ties.
Let's know what we're gonna do with the railroad ties that are left over.
Because they might be used as retaining walls in
If
other
they're in the
places.
council, they pull them out, they're not right.
They're about $16 a piece, we should have a place to store them. We need them someplace else.
Okay.
They're using the store one.
We talked about the sound equipment, and so we thought we might institute some kind of insurance deal when they rent it, but that got to be too complicated, and it can't be covered under our regular insurance with the municipal league. So what we is recommending that we collect a $100 deposit for anyone who wants to rent the sound equipment with the Civic Center, and they have to be checked out by someone knowledgeable.
You're talking about just the amplifier, not the soundboard and all that. I don't think anybody should be able to use that unless, that's not something any knuckleheads, me or anybody else should mess with. They don't know what they're doing. Those amps that we got have each speaker has its own amp, so you can just use speakers and the microphones will go through them and everything. But that Run DMC board back here is probably pretty expensive, and I don't think none of us I use.
And it's all in the storage back there. Like
Yeah.
Is everybody okay with a $100 deposit on the sound equipment?
Deposit or fee?
Deposit.
Refundable or not?
And we also recommended we get a soda machine for the Civic Center. And Mark is going to take care of that.
I didn't even know, I didn't remember that, but I will go.
No, you're the one who suggested it.
Yeah, I thought you did.
You suggested
I was
you're automatically in
expecting
charge.
somebody else to.
Mark,
To do it.
if you get the soda machine,
That's ridiculous, they have it.
see, I knew that's what you did.
So you have a budget of, or a proposed budget of 13,000. And so are you wanting things picked and choosed from here, or all the 13,000? Because I know there's money that can be moved, but what's your thoughts on it, Charles?
I think we ought to just go ahead with the stuff we've got a firm price on and everyone agrees on, and wait for these other items until we get some more bids.
A firm price on which one?
$34.50 for the sign, the handrail,
Oh, okay.
the supplies to get everything rented in the tourist center up, and the gravel.
Right.
Repeat those, Jamie.
The 40 for the sign,
Right,
110 for the handrail,
Right.
300 for the supplies,
right,
3,000 for the gravel.
right.
Should be,
And the 250 for doing these two windows?
oh yeah, I did something for that.
And
Okay,
40
so
for the open or closed sign.
Yeah,
She-
that's where I
she
started. I
mentioned
didn't-
that, And the 110, the handrail, the supplies, and the gravel. Okay, we're gonna get more bids on, or get a cost on the flooring, and another bid on painting, and another bid on window tinting.
Window tinting.
Correct? Okay.
Right.
So this is 3,700?
I don't know. I'm gonna add
And we
my-
do have the 10,000 that we have not moved yet from the regional event. And then there's a couple other things, and I know that I asked you guys to think kind of how you know, for suggestions on how that should be reallocated. So if you guys think that some of that should be used in order to get this up to par, then we might use some of those funds in order to do that.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not through yet. On the long range, we were recommending that we seriously consider chipping and seal the parking lot after we gravel it and let it pack down good. And the nearest estimate we could get after talking to the city was about $4,000. And we think maybe that we could probably work that in next year's budget somewhere, depending on how this year turns out. And we also recommended a expansion of the bathrooms, and I want to pass these out to you to let you look at. No action taken, but these were drawn up. This is a friend of Darlene's, and some of you have been around here for a while may know him. It's Jeremy Ellis. He works for a Little and Associates architectural firm in Jonesboro, and he did these drawings at no cost. And he says that he thinks probably if we decide to do this later, that the contractor could probably use these to give us an estimate on what it would cost to do this. And the front sheet is what Bruce brought up earlier about the requirements for plumbing
Looks like
fixtures.
that's about right there. One,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4. Got 5.
Well, he got it out of the Arkansas code, so it should be right.
Yeah.
And I like the plan. Y'all look at it, and we can talk about it later. If we ever get enough money to get an estimate drawn up, we can think about doing that, but I think that will be a solution to our restroom problem, at least I hope it will be.
You threw in a warming kitchen too.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just wanted to say one more thing, two more maybe. They're going to install our new lights day after tomorrow. And we didn't spend any of the money that was left over on our grant because I wanted to make sure that our lights do come in at the cost they said they were going to be, and Energy provides the amount of money they said they were going to do, and doesn't come up with some hidden fees or costs that we don't know about. So we still got $2,040 left over, and if they put the lights in at what they said they would, we'll still have that money to spend on some other things.
Good deal.
Okay, and you said they're coming in day after tomorrow?
Beg pardon?
Did you say they're coming to day after tomorrow?
Thursday.
Thursday? Good.
And I want to thank the mayor for putting up a portion of the stage. After the meeting, y'all can go back and look and see what it's going to look like. It's not all, I guess. Is it one part or two parts that you put up the stage?
I asked to go and please, all you gotta do is unwrap them and put them on the rack.
Yeah.
And they're like $3 million. But I got one that's this way, and we can set up.
You can see what it's going to look like. And also, I want to thank the mayor for his donation of a leaf blower to A&P and the Civic Center. It really cleans the floor up quick after an event. Much better than sweeping with a broom. And that's all I have.
Okay.
I got one thing I'd like to comment since we're talking about that. I'm trying to, and I've been working on, to clean up this room here, moving anything I can back into this storage secure room. There's the popcorn machine and a couple other items. I'm still going to get it moved. And then there's also the glass. I've got a thing that I can move. I might need an extra person to help move that glass out. So that room will basically be pretty much empty except for that one big glass.
Where are you going to move it to?
What, the glass thing?
Yeah.
I was going to leave it in there because it's, I don't know what you're going to do with it. It's something like that thing there, but it's, I'll leave that in there. But there was napkins and a whole bunch of other stuff in there that I transferred back into that storage room. And in that storage room, I'm trying to put all the canopies and everything else back into that storage room now that all the desks and that have been removed. Unless the mayor, I don't know if, I didn't put the glass on inventory. I forgot all about it. I don't know if A&P has a use for it. I don't know if the city has a use for it. It's the glass that from the Simmons Bank. And it's all tempered heavy-duty glass. I don't think we can cut it. It's a quarter-inch, probably, but not.
Actually, the only glass I was aware of was what Mr. Sutherland left here.
Right, it's in.
It wasn't to do with the bank stuff, what I'm trying to say. I don't, not to my knowledge. It was in the building, it belonged to A&P.
Well, Greg Best said that they had the professional people, glass people move it over here.
Mr. Sy, you had something to add to
Yeah,
that
the
too.
glass is from the bank,
Yeah.
not from the city. That popcorn machine, you might want to check with Ron Martin,
Yeah.
it belongs to Main Street.
It does.
Right, but I'm just going to relocate it into a different secured area, that's all.
Can I look at that glass before you dispose of it?
Tonight, yeah.
I do have a plan for some.
Yeah,
I didn't know you had that.
yeah, there's,
If it's that particular type, that's what I need.
okay.
Charles, so what was the amount then that we had talked about that you're need?
3,700 right now, I think.
Is that something we,
This now.
okay, sure.
So did everybody get the budget that I passed out just now? And I apologize, Bruce, I did not have the budget going on down, including that 50,000 for the building purchase and the civic center signage, but you'll see it on this
Yeah, I see
spreadsheet.
it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's the rest of your budget right there. And next time I'll try to have that report for you with the financial statements.
Yeah, because if the commission needs to
Right, see that
move
also.
things around, we gotta,
So that middle column is your current budget right now, the way you approved it at the last meeting. With that 50,000 for the
Okay.
building purchase and the 3,000 for civic center signage shown at the bottom.
okay, so this is the now budget.
Right, the middle column says current budget, yes.
All right.
So then the proposed changes, and of course, this was done just based on what I had knowledge of before this meeting, so this has changed a little bit. But following along with what Charles presented on the planning report, that would put $700 of that could come out of your operations budget. You have 8,000 in there, and you've only spent $507 of that so far this year. So you still have $7,492 left in that line item anyway, and I think that all of those things the smaller items that we just talked about, the handrail, the supplies, the window signage, and the LED sign, the $40, would all fall within
Under operations.
under operations. And then, well, it could, but I think we would capitalize that on the balance sheet, the $3,000. So I would put it down here under balance sheet items affecting cash flow. I put flooring in there, but I'm removing that, so you can cross that off since we didn't approve anything on that tonight. So parking lot, 3,000 for the gravel that you just talked about. And then we also didn't take action staying up there, I'm sorry. The civic center signage, that's the actual amount that it's gone over what was budgeted. So I'd like to move 3,858 there so that the 6,858 total is correct with what you've spent. And then, so those two items, the 700 and the 3,000 would take care of what was just presented for the planning for the civic center items. And then jumping back up to the top in that proposed changes column, I put 1,000 that you can use out of contract services. That was what you were paying Greg, $100 a month.
Oh.
And that 200 is all you need because you spent that January, February. And then the regional event is not going to be this year, so you've got that 10,000 to take out.
Oh, it's original.
So then I added the two items that you didn't approve this last month, but I think we need to add this in your budget. The $15,000 for your civic center equipment grant match, and the additional $20,000 that you agreed to provide the city for parks maintenance. So that total of $35,000.
Okay, I don't know what was this.
You might have to walk it through.
Yeah, I can walk back through that. Well, that changes my numbers by 3,500, so it's going to add that back.
Where did the business directory, is that printing? Was that under printing and copying?
Printing and copying.
You didn't update that yet? That we
It's in-
spent?
Yes, you've spent $2,549 out of your $4,000 budget.
If you look on this one, Bruce, it shows how much was paid and then how much we have left.
Oh, that's on another sheet.
Yes, and like I say, I apologize. Next time I'll have
I see,
the whole
okay.
thing on one.
I'm just looking at
Why don't you walk me through?
Okay, so basically, if you go back to the top, what we're proposing is $1,000 from contract services, leaving only $200 in that line item. I'm not proposing doing anything to operations, leaving that as the $8,000. And that $700 you approved will just come out of that as part of the budget. Taking $10,000 out of regional event, leaving that zero. Adding $3,858 to civic center signage to make your balance in that line item $6,858, which is what you spent.
So we need to take 3858 from the 10,000 then?
It's basically coming out of that 10,000, right? Okay, and then forget the flooring, just mark it off. And then adding a line for parking lot, 3,000.
Okay. Does that make sense to everybody, or struggling a little? Okay.
You ready for a motion?
Sure.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the amount of $3,700 to take care of those items that were approved tonight on the short-term list of things that need to be done.
Okay, and are we taking that from
With-
operations?
I don't want to get into those details. Yeah,
With 700 coming out of the
700 comes out of,
operational budget.
yeah.
Okay. And the rest coming from the regional
The
event?
park, no, from the parking
Regional.
lot.
Okay.
Coming from
Addition.
regional event.
Yeah.
It's too complicated. I don't care where it comes from. Just give me the money.
Yeah, that's right. I don't
Okay, you want to do
know.
the rest of it in a separate motion then? Is that what you're saying? You want to just do that motion?
I beg your pardon?
You want to do the rest of the budget changes in a separate motion? then?
Oh. No, I recommend we approve those changes also.
Okay, the changes I just itemized, the 1,000 out of commissioner training and regional event, and adding to civic center signage, and budgeting for the grant and the city parks maintenance, right?
Right.
Right.
Okay.
So then after the remaining
Motion.
amount in regional event would be 3,142, am I right?
No, I'm going to make it 0.
But that's how much we would have left to be moving?
Well, I wasn't moving it anywhere. You just would have a different bottom line.
Okay.
That's what it
Okay.
It would go down
I get you.
to the
Right.
equipment
Okay,
manager,
I
the
got you.
parks maintenance.
Do we have a second?
I will second that.
We can do a voice vote on this one so that you guys can
Okay. Prue?
hear, yes.
Gordon?
Yes.
Thoreau?
Yeah,
Wilson?
Yes.
Gamblin? Yes. Ruder?
Yes.
Motion passes.
as long as we have money to cover it.
Now we
That's
have,
income tax.
now we need to do the motion about doing the civic center items.
Is that what?
Did you, was that for both of them?
I
What was your
think
motion?
The motion is for the 700 for coming out of operations,
Okay.
the 3,000, and then I'll itemize all those other
Okay, so that
items.
does take care of it, okay. Okay. Okay, thank you, Charles. All right, so to me, okay, so the first thing, I'd like to read a resignation letter from Mr. Jeffrey Smith. It says, effective as of the 31st of May, I, Jeffrey Smith, resign from the lodging position. Due to lack of time to properly commit to the commission, I feel it's best to step down. I have no problem helping out with events or anything else to help the city of Hardy in the future. I apologize for the inconvenience I have caused. Jeffrey Smith. So, and we thank him for his service. And that does leave a,
I make a motion that we accept his resignation.
Second.
all in favor? Any nays? Okay. We do have a couple letters, but since I'm just announcing it now, we'll leave the remainder of this month and into the next one to receive any letters from other folks that
It has to be made
that are
public.
interested. So, but I do have a couple of them now that I can read to you. Laura Smith has issued a letter having served as a government seat on the commission for a short time. I've learned a lot about the uniqueness of this board. I believe I can serve it well by offering many marketing skill sets that can bring our city to new heights and provide our city with an infused renewal of goodwill and future travel and tourism bound. As such, I hereby respectfully submit this letter for your consideration. Sincerely, Laura Smith. We have another one from a LaDonna. Is it Samons? Samons? Anyway. Sorry? Salmons, okay, thanks. My name is LaDonna Salmons. I am the manager of Valero Quick Serve Number 1 in the city of Hardy. I've been employed there for the past 16 years. In 2012, I became the manager. As manager, my job includes running the store, restaurant, and also included running 2 motels. I have seen progress and growth in our community, and it makes me want to do what I can to help the city to continue moving forward. I feel I will be an asset as a Hardy A&P commissioner. Sincerely, LaDonna Salmons.
May I please have copies of those?
You sure can. Do you want me to just take them and then give you a copy, or?
Let me have them and I'll run and get copies made.
Now, do we still have Tracy Moore's
We
letter?
do still have Tracy's. If you're still interested in becoming a commissioner, we still have that on file. So,
We
hers
have
as well
her
as
letter
mine.
on file.
Hmm?
We have her letter on file.
That's what I said, yep. Okay, there's a few things that I have in my report that are going to be just for you guys to be aware and to kind of be thinking of over the next month. One of them that's been brought to my attention is possibly having a bypass sign, something, and maybe working with the city or something. Now that the construction has kind of routed that lane to go past, there's been concerns that more people are taking the bypass instead of coming through Hardy. And so I don't know if there's something that can kind of, signal to people, like with a sign that, historic Main Street ahead or something like that, that kind of signals that there's a town
I've been
beyond.
getting the same calls, I'll be downtown. And somebody sat down there and watched, and the car traffic is following the big trucks. Not all of them, of course, but they're following it around,
And they follow Google Maps. So
Yeah.
Google Maps is gonna divert you.
So if you
you're-
guys can each maybe take some time over the next month and kind of, maybe drive out there, see what it looks like.
the sign would have to, I looked at it today when I came
Okay.
in from that direction. In order to be effective, it would have to be way back there toward Barbara Homewood's house, way before the bypass to let people know that downtown Hardy is straight ahead. Because if you get close to, by the time you get to the bypass, you're already stuck right there, traffic's coming.
Mine's made up.
Okay. So anyway, that's just something for you guys to think about. Another thing is our bylaws. We haven't reviewed them or looked at them at all since we've became a group together as of January with the new commissioners. So if you can, take a look at those over the next month, and let's see if there's any changes that you want done to them or how they can better serve our commission, and we can relook at those, okay? We did have a FOIA request this last month between the last meeting and now. Ms. Frida was able to get the information needed to Greg, who also provided some information. So just so you guys know that happened, and Greg hasn't given me any further information, and I asked him to let me know if anything else was needed, and I have not heard back.
I haven't heard anything.
So hopefully all is well. Another thing is the advertising request form. I think Darlene sent that to you guys. Did you guys have any questions about that? I mean, we've got the old one, we've got the new. Do we want to incorporate? Do we want to, is there any thoughts on that?
I think we need to get it down to at least a one-page information sheet. So we can hand it out instead of, going through 2 or 3 pages.
Okay.
If we can get it down to that, take the best of whatever we got and redo. Now, we don't put it smaller print, but make sure that we can try to get the information all in one sheet.
Does it?
I like having a form that can be filled out online. We have our website, we can have it added where anyone that's looking to host an event, start an event, whatever it may be, they have access to see, even from day one of planning out, what do I need to get? Before I even fill the form out, let me start getting the information that goes on the form so they have a reference, then they could fill the form out.
Okay.
And if it's online, we can receive the information easily and well before the meeting so that we can review it to make the meetings quicker.
Is there anything, like, because if we're merging two forms to make it more convenient for the public, does one of us need to kind of be looking through both of them and kind of, draw it up?
Yep, we'll take one person and do it.
Okay.
Go ahead, Kristen.
Okay, I can do that. I can do that.
There's a
So at the
volunteer.
next meeting, I'll bring a different form then, or a form that it's either, merging the two or working with that.
Yeah, we need social security numbers and addresses
Bank account numbers.
and your maiden names.
All right. And speaking of that form, they must have had one at the city hall, because that Matt Reichard filled one out. He was supposed to be here tonight, but he didn't. But he had that event on the 15th for the cookout for the appreciation for the public service. And so I hope you guys were able to review that I sent to you guys. He is wanting funding reimbursement for radio.
That was what, 450?
So, and he hasn't been in to talk to me about how that went. Do you know anything, Ernie, about how that went, Tamara, anything?
There was an accident the day before on one contestant, another one was sick. But they went ahead and cooked, they had 2 grills going, and they cooked 100 pounds of chicken and give it out. And it really was nice. It wasn't as many people as we expected, but they still served 100 pounds of chicken. So it went real well. And according to what I was told, they had one week before that over in Sharp County in another town, and it was really bigger, about twice as big as it. So it really went pretty good considering the first time the problems and complicated stuff that they had due to accidents and sickness.
Yeah.
The contestants didn't show up.
It wasn't put together good.
Well, that's the first one.
I mean, nobody knew about it, and then we knew about it right before it happened. That's why it didn't do any better.
It was advertised on the radio, I heard it, and it was funded by the A&P Commission, and I thought, I don't know if I remember voting on that.
It's not funded by them.
One of the contestants, Byron, they tried to get in touch with whoever was in charge for 3 or 4 days ahead of time, and he would not answer the phone. And so that was a big blow to the event.
But I know she's right, because I had the same complaint. And he apologized for that, nevertheless, that was part of it as well. There was 7 contestants scheduled to be there, and ended up at 2 ended up being there.
Okay.
But again, it was a good time, and everybody enjoyed it.
Yeah. So, you guys, so you guys can either make a motion to not do it, make a motion to do
I make
it.
a motion that we don't support this. If he was planning far enough ahead, he had time to come to us and request funding. So I think in this case, we should decline this. If he does this again, and he plans it in advance and comes to us at a reasonable time, then we could certainly consider it. But I think my motion is to decline this.
Okay. Do we have a second? Okay, if there's no motion to second it, then
Moving
do
on.
we have a motion to approve it, or? Because if you don't approve it, then it's like declining it, so.
But you said that he was supposed to show up tonight?
He told me he would be here, so.
I think we can possibly table it until the next meeting and get a hold of him and find out. No, but the radio they send the bill, or?
I do not have a bill, he submitted this with it, and he said they were obviously he was gonna get a bill after it. My concern is if he had the event and it wasn't a very good success, and he didn't have the money
That's,
How is he gonna pay for it?
well, that's not our
I know it's
problem,
not,
Kristen.
but I'm just voicing,
We never had, I don't remember any discussion about paying for that
No.
radio.
no, he
No,
didn't.
because it
It's
was
just-
after the fact
Yeah,
of
he
last
sent
month's
it,
meeting.
yeah, he said that this, he didn't have time because our meeting was already over, so,
I just table it until next month.
Okay.
And get a hold of him and find out what's, what,
okay.
Judge, he needs to come and justify it, and if he doesn't, what's this?
Okay, so we're just gonna make a motion to table, well, we don't even need a motion probably, do we?
not really. no.
Okay, so we're just gonna table it.
Table it until next month.
That's fine, and I can try and contact him. Okay,
I know I'd be here if I was requesting.
right? Okay,
This is, on the thing here, it says hometown radio, barbecue chicken cook-off, like the three radio stations were hosting it as well. Is that what, does it read that way?
well, it comes as a package thing, I believe.
What
Is it-
was the name of it, hometown radio barbecue chicken cook-off?
Oh, no,
No, I don't think so.
What it says?
But we were named that we were sponsoring the ad
we
On the
were,
radio.
we were on this too?
on the barbecue.
Okay, because,
Well,
yeah,
we-
that shouldn't have been in there.
See,
That
we
wasn't
ran
reflected.
into that once before when it was misquoted in the newspaper, if you'll recall, that the A&P Commission was sponsoring it. If it was quoted that way, I'm sorry, we weren't sponsoring it.
Okay,
But that's why we're tabling it.
Yeah,
Find
so
out.
If I can add one thing, I do know that financially, it's 100% paid for, except for the advertising. I do go with that the day of the event, is all paid for except for the advertising. He may have paid for it out of the money he got there, they haven't told me or reported back.
Well,
You need more information.
he was doing it for a good cause. And he was gonna donate the money he was donating the money, wasn't he, Ernie, to the restroom?
If there was any left after the event, but he was just kicking the event, trying to get the thing started, is all it was. He wasn't trying to make money. He said if there was any left over, that's where it would go. So he may have the money to pay for it, he may have paid, I don't know.
That's what I was gonna say, if he had any money left over, maybe pay for the advertising in the harbor.
They may do it.
It might have been a wash.
He'd be happy to do it.
Yeah.
since we're on the leg of advertising, let's bring up KOOL. I gave that a copy to you. Hey, this is Chelsea from Hometown Radio. I'm reaching out because we're excited to once more be broadcasting the live concert from the Hardy Junction Music Hall on KOL. The Stringed Union Bluegrass Band is playing on Saturday, June 29th, and we're hoping to include the Hardy Advertising Promotion Committee as an advertised sponsor. You would get 15 30-second ads to use next week, an ad during the concert, promos on all three of our stations promoting the Hardy Junction Music Hall with you as a business putting them on the air, and then you would also be tagged before and after we air the concert. The total investment is only $100 and we can bill it in July. Just give me a call. Blah, blah. So this is another one. So anytime I get stuff, I'm bringing it to you guys. So don't think that just because I'm bringing it, I'm for it or against it. This is me being transparent with you guys with everything that we get.
And they're already advertising,
Right.
because
and-
it's going to be Saturday.
right.
And we already lost, this
Well-
$100, I think we lost the
Well,
time.
I told her, I said, well, our meeting isn't until Monday. She said, that will be fine, we'll start you right away on Tuesday, and we'll even do spots that you didn't get used on after the event for just
Oh.
advertising Hardy. So she said she would make it good for us.
For
but-
$100.
For 100, not 450.
I could have sworn I saw a different name on the billboard out there. But she gives you the date here as the 29th.
And,
I
yep.
guess that's right.
Mean a different band?
I could have sworn I saw a different band name on the billboard, on their sign out there, but I could be wrong. Did you?
The flyer that they had, I'm trying to see if I still have it.
It
'Cause I
seemed
may
that
have
you-
deleted it.
It
The
seemed like
flyer
it was
that they
different.
had, that's not what I posted on the website as who was playing
Yeah, and that's,
Saturday, or I don't think it was.
I want to say something like it was,
You don't-
great, I can't think the name.
You don't know the name of the band?
I could have just sworn that it was a different name.
I don't know.
So, do we have a motion to pay $100 for these ads, or do you guys want to?
Okay, so you couldn't find it, Jamie?
Still looking.
Wait, just give her another minute, see if she can find it.
But that's,
'Cause I think it would be good to help advertise something like this if this is a different band. So that we've got the right day at the right band.
well, they are playing it on Saturday. They're going to have it live on the radio.
Now, the question
Okay,
is,
that is who's on here.
it is his listed?
String Union Bluegrass. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then it must be a different one that I had seen somewhere for the next week.
Yeah, they might.
Read the runtime to me again, please.
The runtime, 15 30-second ads, an ad during the concert, promos on all 3 of our stations, with used business plan, you also tag. And then you'll be tagged before and after the concert.
Yeah, I've heard their ads on, I looked it up, I listened to it specifically one time because I hadn't heard the band, and I wanted to hear what they sounded like. And they really do talk up their ads, I will say that for them.
Okay, thoughts, questions?
I make a motion that we accept that $100 as long as they, I know that we're already behind in the time, but if they say that they're going to make up for the lost time of however many times they already said it, you know, for at least future work, that's cheap advertising, I think, locally anyway.
Okay, do we have a second?
Well, I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any nays? All right, motion approved, and I will let her know about that. All right. Another thing that came across, this was just a quote, right, Ernie? For the Eagle Pest for here? Okay, so Eagle Pest dropped off a quote at City Hall if we're wanting to have pest control here for the Civic Center. And that quote is $40 a month. $40 a month. And it'd be general pest control.
Includes vermin,
I'm sorry?
includes vermin, rats, and mice.
Yep, roaches and silverfish, rats, mice, fleas, ticks, other, and it's not really, like, their contract is just good until canceled, so you can do it until whenever you want to, so. But it's up to you guys if we want pest control here.
Is that once a month?
Year,
Yes, yeah. So, and I don't know how bad bugs are here,
$480 a year.
and that can come out of operations as well, I would think, if that's what you guys want to do.
We need that.
Okay?
Go back in the back.
The more of the,
Whatever
Look at the
those
back.
strange bugs
Sweep
that
that up.
came in.
Okay, so do we have a motion?
I make a motion, we accept the bid.
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? All right, great. And I can
you said
let them know
40.
about that. Yes, $40 a month. Thank you.
On this 100,
I need a copy of that too.
Oh, that would come out of, I think, let's see.
Would that include birds?
One sec, sorry.
We had a bird in here this past week.
what's radio?
Open the door.
We used to have a radio line item.
There is
We do.
one.
Oh, am I not seeing it?
500.
Oh, okay.
500,
Well, that
that's
was
the
right
thing.
there.
Radio.
Okay. This book here, Arkansas Travel Guide, Frida knows a little more about this one, I think. But they dropped off a magazine. From what Frida said, they kind of spendy.
It's expensive. Let me have it. It is expensive. We're in here. We're on page 120 something. It's just as in a listing.
And that one, I believe, was
Here it
$1,000
is.
for
Right here.
small.
We're already in here we have Main Street District, Lowberg Park, and Spring River. Now, we did not pay for that. That was in last year's edition, and we did not take an ad. Apparently, they do some of that all over the state, and it does cover the state. But their rates are really, really pricey. It runs from 1/6 of a page at $995 up to inside the covers of $6,590. Distribution is $400,000. It does go all over the state and everything. It's a nice magazine, but I think it's just too pricey for what we need right now. We do get these every year, and I just feel like it's too expensive.
It is a very nice magazine. We gotta ask ourselves, when you're looking at any of these magazines come around here,
Right.
with these, how many of y'all have seen these magazines anywhere? Seriously?
Yeah, and it's,
I see them in feed stores sometimes sitting over there, next to the counter and get knocked into the trash can. I don't
and
think,
the most main.
they are done very well, but I don't think.
Oh, they
they've
are,
got
they're
what people
beautiful
see.
magazines. And where I see them most of the time are in the various motels. But there's the Chamber Magazine, the Ozark Gateway Magazine, and then there are other magazines available as well. But my main thing with it is it's just awfully expensive.
How much was it again?
$1,000 for
not
their
the
smallest.
6,000 one.
$1,000 for their smallest day.
Yeah, for a 1/6 of a page, $995. You can get, it has listed a tall page at $750. I'm not sure what a tall page is. I think maybe that's something like that. I don't know.
So do we have a motion to do that one or to not do it?
I'd say not do it.
Okay.
I think it's such
So Bruce makes a motion to
Oh,
not
okay.
do the Arkansas
Yeah, make
travel.
that in a motion form.
There's only 1,200 left.
Any, all in favor?
I,
Any nays? Okay. And one last advertiser. It's summertime, so we're getting all of these requests. This one, and I sent it all to you if you guys got to review, is KAIT. They're doing a road trip, or wanting to do a road trip to Hardy. I saw their Discovery Park one, and that's where they went there. They did video. They advertised it actually pretty good. But this one had a value of,
Saw it in here
yeah, I
somewhere.
think it was 1250.
1,250.
1250, okay. So I don't know what you guys think of that one. That one would be where they come here and they probably would do a little more detailed. And they do it all.
How much did you
12,
say?
oh, sorry.
1250?
1250 is the price on this one.
Then it lists one-time production costs though, and is that
In addition,
on
Oh,
top?
I see now, yeah.
Or,
we'd be better off to have accepted their TV, camera for their weathers. I know that we voted it down. But if you watch the TV,
That's true.
I do all the time, every, like 3 hours in the evening and 3 hours in the morning. They put in Walnut Ridge recently, and they're blasting that. They're advertising, well, this is the weather in Walnut Ridge, the downtown and everything. And I think we would have been better off if we had accepted that and had wherever the camera they were going to put it.
I think
And
that one was around 2,000.
That
that was $3 grand.
$3 grand a
It's
month,
expensive.
right?
No, I think it was just initial cost, $3 grand, and then they run it, but
There was a
you
month.
had the information, I don't know.
Huh?
It was 2,800 a month.
Yeah, I think it was
Oh, it's a
monthly.
month.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm pretty
okay,
sure.
forget
Yeah.
that. I thought
that
it was
was
just
it.
initial.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
y'all want to put something together with Too Tight Timmy, it'd be a little cheaper there.
I'd say, let's table that one too. Can we table that?
This one? She is more than willing, she couldn't this time come, but they are more than willing to come and do more detailed information on this. If you guys are wanting them to, I can contact them. But otherwise, this is what we have so far.
Well, let's decline it for now. We know that we can contact them if we ever want to do this, and we're aware that it is available at times.
This is pretty much trying to sell us something that's gonna be on their Facebook page. That's what I read it
Okay.
looked like. No,
There are commercials
Yeah.
on KAIT also.
where does it say that?
Look on the very last page. Because you get the video on the Facebook page, the video, the logo, descriptive paragraph, and website on the Take a Road Trip page at KAIT.com. Banner ads, and then 40, 30-second Take a Road Trip commercials on KAIT. 10 on ABC, 15 on NBC, 15 on
5
CW,
a.m., but is that,
between 5 and 12 a.m.
is that 30-second piece would be exclusively us? Or is that part of everybody's?
I think it's exclusive.
I think it's exclusive.
Was there a contact, Tara?
Yeah, Tara Ferguson is her name.
What's your number?
If they want, they should come back and talk to us on that.
Say again?
They should come talk to us and explain.
Okay. Do you want me to contact her and let her know to come to the next meeting? Okay.
This might be a good deal.
There were some links if you go to the website for the people that are doing it
Didn't we,
currently.
back a year or two ago, we had paid for TV advertising? We were on it.
We were approached, I think.
Oh, we had it running.
We did have it at one time.
Okay. Okay, so I'll contact her then about that, okay? About coming to the next one.
And where that would come out of.
Yeah, 1250. Well, if we have to, we can pull
Yeah.
from other places.
But we know where to find her.
Right. Okay. We have another situation. At the beginning of the year, we read the A&P's mission statement, which was created by those of us that were on the A&P at the time in December. And it was brought to the commission and approved. And it stated that, and talked about being courteous and respectful and professional in all of our meetings. However, this is currently not being done by our secretary. And due to several contentious issues that have been brought up both here to the commissioners and also to myself, and it isn't a one-time issue, it's been constant, even to the point of one of our commissioners' resignation. I would like a voice vote regarding a vote of confidence for our current secretary that's in this position. This will be a yay or a nay, and we will go around the room, around the table, asking, and we will go from there. So, Ms. Jamie, I would like you to go first.
Clarify one more time.
It's a vote of confidence. A yay is if you would like her to stay in this position, or a nay if you would like it to change hands.
Nay.
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 Okay? Ms. Frieda?
Well, I shouldn't vote. You're talking
Okay.
about the secretary.
So Ms.
position,
Frieda
I have to
abstains?
abstain.
Okay, Ms. Frieda abstains. With that being said, we do need to have a secretary in place, and couple motions would need to be made. One of them right now, the bylaws state that we would need to wait until the next meeting in order to have a secretary appointed. I'm not clear on if that means if we're switching around duties, but to be safe, we would need to make a motion that we waive those rules in order to vote in a secretary this evening. so that we can proceed forward and not have to wait another 2 months in order to have a secretary. So that would need to take place first. And just so you know, I would like to, once that's done, I would like to nominate Mr. Thorough to be that secretary. So I would entertain a motion to waive the bylaws in order to appoint a secretary tonight.
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Bruce?
I abstain.
Okay. Okay.
Pro,
Okay.
need your vote.
Yes. Oh, well, I did voice vote. Now, do we have a motion in order to appoint Mr. Thorough as the secretary effective immediately?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
And do a
Prue,
yes.
Gordon,
Yes.
Bruder,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Gamblin,
Abstain.
Okay.
and Thoreau.
You'll have to
So you
abstain.
Do I have to abstain? Yeah. Good idea.
All right.
Motion passes. You have 4 yeses.
All right, Ms. Frida, we appreciate your service, and you'll continue to be with us as a commissioner. But right now, we'll, anything that you have on file and would need to be turned into the city hall in order to, for the new secretary to be able to
I'm
get those
aware of
items.
that.
Thank you. All right, our next item is Bruce with your business directories.
Did we get Martha Hardy? Did we skip that?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah.
Thank you, Laura.
Given this long thing with the Hearts and Hardy campaign and stuff like that, I'm glad to finally be able to make an announcement that we're kicking it off. And Bruce has voluntarily bought the pots to put it in, and after a lot of pondering and where we can put these, at least initially, I think because we're putting our civic center as a point of entry to our city, and because art is a part of our logo and stuff, I would like to see the 2 trees planted, if you will, outside of the front post here on either side, and stabilized in case of any kind of storm or anything. It was told to me that if I said put them on the outside, there's more chance of people running into them, and we don't want that to happen because they can get quite heavy. So with that, that is my preferred place of putting them in.
Are you gonna have something to explain to people
Yes, we're
as far as the
having
lock, get it locked on it, right?
yes,
There could be something to say,
yes.
you're locked on
Because
here.
because I got licensees, as I'm the copyright holder, they'll be licensees, so that the city ones will have like t-shirts and stuff like that that we can put in here. You pay like a wholesale cost, and you can sell them, the profits yours and stuff like
But
that.
people can put any kind of lock on it, right?
They can,
They
yes.
don't have to buy it, would there be a
No.
sign or something on
Yes.
it to show, on, okay, that's what.
Yep. Mark Herring has gotten, I've licensed him to do like their powder coated locks, and he can engrave them, so they're right here and stuff too. And I've got a young boy, Liam, who is working on getting some t-shirts made and stuff like that too, to further this. On top of which, the Art Center of North Arkansas, as well as myself and some others, we're doing like paintings and things like that that have a heart. And the $5 to each of those sales goes to Lawrence Seaver's Comfort Keepers charity. So we're talking with Kim Bray and Lauren for further action on that kind of thing, our artists, fabricator, firm, etc.
And we paid for these, the only thing you need is approval, of course, to put them out front.
Correct.
We'll need to know exactly where, up here, in front of the post?
Poles?
In front. one on either side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do have the tubs, the trees are locked up.
So ensure they're secure, because we have those heavy ones that are really.
Wait, what kind of tubs are these? They're not like feed tubs or nothing, are they? Is it something attractive?
It's like an oversized
Well,
planter.
they were here.
They're planters?
They're brand-
Planters?
They're nice ones.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not like a crystal
I
tub.
painted them,
Not a plastic.
they're terracotta. They would match the somewhat color of the
Planters out there now.
Half of it.
But we were going to concrete them in, put dirt on top of them, so if they want to put flowers in there also, then they could do that. But I didn't do it because we didn't have a location exactly.
There's other places that say like in town, because once.
And you can move them and, you know.
Right, that's why I said initially, that's where I would place them.
Yeah, you
because if
might
we have
need
something
3
like
people
that
to
early
lift
around,
them.
we can always move them.
Downtown.
Or a
on
dog.
the sidewalk, figure it out.
Or a dog.
Right. They said like in front of like a fence or something, the vertical fence, we're like, no, that's not a good place at all, especially with our leaky, tunnel through there now. So I figured this would be like the best place to go.
You go,
But
go sit down. I make a motion, we go ahead and get this project in swing and going and let Bruce sink them in planters with enough room to put dirt on top of the concrete, put them right here in the old ozone, right in front of the building.
I'm going to paint those columns.
Do we have a
need to paint
second?
them columns, that's a whole different deal.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? All right.
thank you.
Tracy, did we answer your question then?
Well, y'all brought up, y'all did, but you brought up another question. When y'all are doing the work out here, the trees and all this stuff, where will that fit on the timeline as far as the craft show? Like, will it be done? I mean, they'll either not be done or totally done September 21.
We're gonna try to get it done before the crash show. Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
That'll be chip and seal.
That's one of the.
Well, that's what we can start
That's
kind of
next year.
planning, you know.
Hopefully this building is in a lot better shape for you for,
Oh, listen, I was kind of checking on the lot, we have been asked about the lights more than anything else about the lights. So I'm thrilled about it.
You're talking about the lighting in here?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I like that, too. Nothing.
That's wonderful.
Great.
Oh, and I wanted to say, you girls that are working on the sign, I love that buckle up for safety as it's a life jacket.
Thank Mark Gordon for that idea.
Oh, was that Mark? I think that, especially around
You
here, I
girls.
thought that was great.
How soon would advertising on that sign, would you think? Can we start now? Or,
I mean, we should even have like the A&P meetings or the council meetings. That information
I
should
can
be
put that
popping up too.
all right, Bruce, your business directory update?
okay, business directory came in, I guess we paid for it. There's the new ones. I've handed out
Probably more than half of them. The majority of them went to the Mammoth Springs Welcome Center. There was a bunch. 7 bundles of 30, which 210 of them went up there. Most of the businesses downtown, I tried to cover them. There's some that I have not. And I do have a few packets in my truck that I handed out some in Mountain View when I've been on vacation there, to the Chamber of Commerce. But I had a feeling that maybe some of those might just go into the trash. But anyway, the balance of, there's a full box and I think a partial box that's in this room over here.
So anybody that
Did our
wants.
hotels, did you deliver them?
Yes, all the motels have got a bundle now. I basically told most of the people that we would probably, someone, myself or whoever, might have to do another round in, say, end of July to see if they needed more. I don't know if you used up your 30 or so.
I still have several.
Yeah, so I would think about the end of July, we make another trip. I hit all the lodging, I hit the rafting places here in town. I think I even went up to Biggers, the bed and breakfast there, gave them a bundle. I didn't go to any of the camping areas and stuff. I do have a list of the ones that I've handed out, and I can have that emailed to you, or
That would be fine.
we'll keep it on record.
Okay.
But
Tamara has a
if-
question for you.
But if there's any that is needed, then we should at least keep a record of how and where they go to.
Okay.
I don't think, are you still regarding
The
the
business
party brochures?
directors, yes.
Okay. So the question would be, would the police officers be able to have just a few of those each in a car? There's
Oh,
a
yeah.
million times when we're out visiting with people and they say,
Yes.
oh, what about this or what about that? And it would be such a wonderful.
I did leave a bundle off at the city hall down there that's on the side thing.
Okay.
But
Bruce?
we can give you
Yeah, maybe
another
give her a bundle tonight, yeah.
There's 30 in a bundle,
Okay.
so, I mean,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's a good
And the
idea.
camper park even would be a great spot to, you know.
Yeah, down with Perry.
We talk to a lot of people every day
Okay.
and helping people that are lost or misguided or whatever.
Good, thank you. Okay. Bruce, you also have something on the pocket park?
Yes, I do. I built a model, and I'll leave it here so you can all take a look at it. It's kind of like a concept. After the meeting, I got that man, Wonder Woman as a sample of the height of people. It's a half inch equals 1 foot. So in 1 inch, it's 2 feet. So that kind of represents a plan that I handed out, and at this moment in time, all I'm going to do is let you all take a look at it. I'm trying to get a feedback from the public if that's the direction that we want to go. I know that A&P has not voted for it or approved going with that, but it's a concept that was started way back about a year ago, and I've taken all the concept as far as I can. So it's an actual scale,
Thank you.
and
You did a great job.
You did.
If you
What
had
I
some
want-
money,
Advertise.
what I want to do from this point is possibly present it in the same fashion to the city council next month, at the regular meeting.
Speaking of money and
But,
having money.
yeah, I know
Yeah.
that.
Well, no, I was just gonna say, if we can take your plans, your ideas, and if it can be phased,
I
if there's
I
any
think we
portion that
I
can be
think that we
phased out,
could
then
do
we could say, okay, this
one
can't
first
get
phase,
done.
second phase type of
Right.
thing, we may have to
The
go.
first phase may be 1 year, and
Right.
even if
And
we had a
budget.
3-year plan on it and broke it down into thirds, then as long as phase 1, we can break it down, it's usable when it's done, and then we add on each year, it'll be easier to take that large sum and,
And I'm hoping that,
Make it-
like a campaign, Laura's not here, but we may try to do a campaign on it somehow, since the A&P owns the property. I don't know, there's some clarification that needs to be done between the city and the A&P. If the city can help do some of the stuff like they're doing out here, but I don't know if they can do that since they're not invested in this particular property. So there's something there that I know that has to be settled, because there is some money supposedly set aside, like 10 grand, that was supposed to be done for this park. Now, I went ahead and kind of said it was Judge Kevin King Pocket Park, and I think we should honor him in such a way that out in Cherokee Village, they had a golf outing, they raised 19 grand. If Cherokee Village can do something, Hardy definitely should be able to do something with this property. Right now, I'm just seeing what kind of public comments we could have, kind of show it out there. If there's, I know there's already been comments on it that there may be needing a different type of ramp and stuff, and for the concert people and stuff. So it's just still a concept and design. It's not been approved, I understand.
Ernie, do you have any thoughts on the Pocket Park? Not to put you on the spot or anything, about the distribution of the money, whether that is going to be a like a problem?
I think it will be available for the A&P Commission.
Okay.
And the plan that I had seen, I don't know if
There's only been two people saw it,
and
Mr. Mayor and Mark.
The railroad, the false front more or less, with brochures and blah, 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 and parts of Hardy, whatever. I thought it would be real nice there, and you had money for that kind of construction, not this, and that, I'm not against what Bruce is trying to do at all. But he's correct, we can't go down there and work because it's not the city's.
Okay.
But the area there, like she said, you can do it in phases. You can start tomorrow.
So the 10,000 that was given to the city?
We'll go to the A&P Commission.
Okay.
So that pocket park, if that's what it is there for.
Okay.
My understanding is I've only seen 2,000 of it, but I understand there's a total of 10.
Okay.
I've just seen that one paper with 2,000.
Mr. Gordon?
I'll wait till we pass this and I get some.
Okay.
I'm not asking for any motion or
Yeah,
anything. I just,
Well, thank you for...
I'm going to leave it here tonight, and then I'll pick it up tomorrow or something.
What do you have that ties it into tourism? That was one thing that the King family talked strongly about.
Well, it'd be used.
What do you have, are you planning so that people can come there and picnic or have a stage for music, or what are you encompassing in to promote the part of tourism?
They could have a farmer's market down there. They could have like a rental of this, any type of festival, music. We could expand it from the Thompson Park, have musicians there, and then also down at this other area. It's basically, it is in the center of town.
Yes,
so when people come in there, we could just have picnic tables so people could come in and sit, and it's using that lot that is not being used, other than the history fence. And I'm trying to use the fencing that's there and put it back, but it may have to be repainted by another artist or something. But yeah, it could all be tied in. There's unlimited amount of ideas that could be used.
So everybody keep thinking.
And you're talking about then moving or relocating the history fence?
Yeah.
Because you see, we can't, that's owned by, the painting is owned by Leanne.
Right.
So we can't mess with that.
That's correct, unless we whitewash it and start it from another artist. Or
We'd have to clear that with Leanne.
I don't know if we have to.
I don't think she owns the fence, does she?
She owns the painting.
I'm an
and
artist,
we
when
can't
you put it
deface
on a public place, it can be covered up.
It basically-
I don't want to disrespect people's art, but I'm telling you, I've done murals before, and other people come in after me and didn't like what I did, it's gone, I don't own that.
It may have served its purpose. The idea of the history is great. And I think we still want to incorporate that in anything that we do down there.
Well, the historic aspect of Hardy has always been, or certainly the last number of years, been a promotion and a part of what brings people to Hardy.
That's right.
Is the history. And so the history that's on that fence really does depict the history.
Right.
So,
But we could, if, on the design itself, we cannot, I don't see it being used as picking it up and moving it to the back of the thing. It doesn't lend itself. As you would see on there, what I have is their access all the way through with a handicap ramp and stuff. We can use part of the
It
fence.
can still be used on the south side,
Yeah.
Yeah, we can move it somewhere or do something with it.
but for access from the street, it would be
Or
pushed back.
we relocated
Before the
some,
history.
we relocated someplace else. The library has expressed interest that maybe they would put it down by their little railroad trains and stuff. I don't know. I don't know what the future holds. I don't think none of us do, but it's a concept that I want to get out into the public, and maybe we're going to have to plan for some budget. It's not something that you're going to do this year. We may start on it this year, but it's a good year and a half project probably from start to finish.
well, I'm sure it is, yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Mark, you said you had something?
What did the last thing we said about window tint? I want to make that real clear since I'm sitting right here tonight.
We're going to get another
We're
price.
gonna get
Get
another-
sunburn here.
Gonna get another-
We're gonna get
Or
another
some curtains or
quote
something.
from,
Did you have anything else, Mark?
No, I just want to make sure we were serious getting some, quotes on
Curtains
that.
are cheaper.
Did any other commissioners have anything? Okay. Any guest comments? Yeah, sure.
Can I start on this project tomorrow? For your parking lot?
You have the approval.
It was approved.
Oh,
So, yeah.
Yeah, we started on it tonight, you know?
No, wait a minute. Thank you.
Huh? Wait, what?
I wanted to say one thing.
Hold on one second, though. What?
do we need to make it clear on the bank account thing? We need the secretary.
Oh, yeah, okay.
We need probably a separate motion on that.
Okay, so that doesn't just come with the being the secretary?
No,
Okay.
it doesn't say in the bylaws that the secretary is on the bank account.
Ms. Wilson pointed out that we'll need a motion in order to have the new secretary placed onto the,
Does it necessarily have to be
You,
a...
the secretary?
Well, I'm thinking the executive position,
An
whereas
officer.
it could be anybody else
It needs to be an officer, is
It'd
the way
be-
I understand it.
from the bylaws.
Unless you change your bylaws.
Right.
okay. So we'll
But it's
need a
gotta be an
motion.
officer.
That's
We'll
what
need a
I-
motion to change, have the names changed on the bank account. Any second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays?
Can I abstain?
Yes. Motion carried. If there's enough, oh yeah, you had one more
I'm
thing.
gonna just remind everybody, go back and look at the stage, if you got time, see what it looks like. So it looks a little different than I thought, it was. It's a lot higher for one thing, but it's 36 inches.
Tamara?
I'm-
Oh, sorry. What's it?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I just had a couple things. Signage wise, this is just a really brilliant idea from someone who doesn't know a whole lot, okay? I don't know if you ever went to Branson via Mountain Home, Harrison, whatever. And before they rerouted Omaha, you know, You used to see all these billboards about the 76 Music Hall and all these things along the way. I get what you're saying about maybe starting at Miss Barbara's old place.
Somewhere there.
Somewhere, and really, really advertising how Main Street, historic, downtown Hardy, blah, 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 all this is straight ahead. But in conjunction with that, I would love more than anything in life, at both ends of this bypass, since, Jamie, the GPS does take everybody on, it just messes everybody up, this bypass, so that semis can say, okay, this is still the truck route, hello, 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 because it causes more problems with these small signs and GPS. You know, they try to do a U-turn, they pinch their hoses, and there they sit, because their air hoses got pinched, and it blocks the whole road, and it causes overturns and wrecks and damage to properties, McDonald's, post office, someone, I mean, I could name them a million times over, couldn't you, Mayor? But I think, I mean, I want as many people that'll come through here, I don't even care if the semis come through here, I'll be real honest. If it'll lead more business into Hardy. But these truck route signs are small. And I think, you know, and when we could work on something like that, but your signs need to be plentiful and.
What you just brought up goes along, we didn't think about this, but at the end of the bypass, on the hill right facing you at the stop sign is another place where a sign needs to say,
Point.
historic Hardy
Right.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yes.
and truck route, hopefully.
Sure.
That way, if we get them there, they don't wind up turning going back.
Really,
You can do that on both
just
sides.
good, really, signage. And something that, like you say, it's short spoken enough to direct that it gets their attention all at the same time. It's a huge concern, it has been for many years here. That's my opinion.
And map
Yeah,
on the sign.
right.
See, and
Better direct, see, people like this whole Hoxie this way and Imboden or whatever, people need a Jonesboro this way and a Batesville that way and a West Plains that way. You know, and that's something that state needs to be taken up with state. These little small, what I call podunk towns, it keeps confusion. If you're not from here, where's Imboden?
are those signs that have to be like through like the state highway department in order to be like green with the white lettering or anything? I mean,
Right directly in front of the stop sign at the bypass down there. Is that Kerry Wayne owns that?
Yeah, Renee.
Huh? Renee does? At the end of the bypass, on the opposite side of the road. If we could get it, that'd be, if we want to spend some money and make some sense, instead of this kind of stuff, we could have a real nice billboardy type sign that not only just said, take a
Right.
left, but it could show pictures of the river and Craftsman and all
Oh,
that stuff all
yes,
in
and
there.
that's
Are
the
you
end.
talking about the one just as we go right to
Right down there. Where
By the
it
liquor
comes
store.
out by the liquor store.
our,
But then we could have it to where it, I mean, it's something artistic and nice.
She owns the one, she's telling me she owns that right on the right.
yeah, on the right, yes.
She has the billboards up there.
And you would only see it if you're coming off the bypass. If it was facing directly, everybody that come off that would see
Right.
it where, you know, where it
It's
goes.
just, you
What you're
know,
trying to say, you'd like to see billboards, not
I
just
think-
signs.
right.
Not road signs,
Billboards
but
is
billboards.
what's gonna do it for people. And you, like you say, the river, the music stuff, the artisan stuff, all of these things, you know, and multiple ones, not just, here's Hardy, hello. It's what does Hardy have to offer?
Right.
You know, oh, look at that, oh, look at this.
Most of those places start that outside of town.
Yeah.
15 miles. I quit, y'all be honest, when I moved up here, I quit traveling back towards Memphis. I don't want to go. But it used to be when you hit 15 miles out, there were the
Yeah.
cream and blue signs that said Old Town Hardy,
It'd say 175
this many
stores.
shops, this many restaurants, 15 miles ahead. And I'm like, yes, I'm almost there, I'm 15
Yes.
miles out.
Right.
I don't even think.
And you're
But
right,
something like
further
that,
out
that
you
makes
start.
them know, okay, well,
You're the type of guy.
let me see if I want to detour to that, or I'm getting hungry, I want to check out the antiques. Signs like that, more billboards than street signs.
That would be money well spent.
Yeah.
We should table that.
So next meeting.
I had, was working on a poster one time for Hardy, a couple of different ones, and one was geared toward sportsmen, and one was geared toward lady folk and older folk, which was music and crafts and so forth. The other one, and food and that sort of thing. The other one was people canoeing and fishing and kayaking and boating on the other. You know, but both of them, anything like that would look good.
I avoid you answering your question when you ask many questions, but on this particular issue about who owns property, where you put signs, and can we put them there? I did get a call today from the highway department, so they did receive our letters that were sent out about taking over Main Street in the future. And the traffic light at each end of the bypass. It is now being sent to Little Rock.
Awesome.
Engineers. Now, they're not saying yes or no. They're being sent to the engineer to be reviewed. And that should, we hope, eliminate at least 50% of the accidents at the east end of that bypass.
Yeah, that'd be great. The other thing, Mr. Wilson, is there's a gentleman and his wife, and I don't know that they do like windows, but they're called Buoys Mobile Tinting, and they travel about like to the dealerships, Martin every week and different places like that. They're the ones who actually did the window tinting on some of our other patrol cars, not only ones we had got that done. And they, of course, with law enforcement and such, they give nice discounts as far as those things go. They may, you know, could offer you a price where
What's her name?
it's Buoys.
Can you spell that?
Yes.
B-O-U-Y, strip it.
Okay, B-U-I-E. And I cannot remember his name, can you?
Mr. Bowie.
Okay, so it's 501,
Oh, okay.
because they're out of somewhere over by Little Rock. 250-3706. And I mean, that's just some, I don't, like I said, I don't know if they do like regular windows, but they sure treated us good.
Contact them for you.
Either one.
I'll get hold of them and see if they come look at it.
That would be good. I think we need more, estimates on that. But when we were talking about sign companies like Salem Graphics, when you mentioned the perforated thing, he can cover that whole window, just get the letters we want to, so we need a price on that. Because that will cut that, we can still see through it, but it'll cut that out.
He told me if he does the perforated, you don't really need window tinting.
Right, that's what I know, but he would have to, he would have to have a sign, I mean, the decal would cover the entire window.
Right.
And with our lettering on it, but it would knock that out.
On
And if he could do it cheap, yeah.
It's $125 a window for that perforated vinyl, for the lettering.
For the whole window, or just for the lettering?
Just the letter.
No.
Because his lettering's perforated,
No, for the whole thing.
the whole window.
That's what he told me, $125
$250 for both.
for one square. So like
Yeah.
that double window would be the $250, which is what was in the budget to do that.
You can ask him about doing the 2 doors as well.
That's what I was going to contact him and ask him
How
about.
well
doing
can you
too.
see through it? Like on windows, it would be fine, as long as we can see through it well enough that somebody's not gonna come flying out of the door and throw it open onto somebody on the other side.
No,
Like, you
nobody
still
should do
gotta
that.
see pretty well
I mean,
through it.
but you're not gonna be taking pictures of birds out of it or nothing,
Well,
you know. Have you ever been in somebody's pickup truck and they have if you get up real close, it looks like dots on it, you can see out, but you can't really.
not really, but.
All right, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I move the motion we adjourn.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.